Alright, Shalom.
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 First and foremost, we like to begin this lesson by giving all glory, all honor, and all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Giving double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of great mercy, who surely do rule well. And as always, we like to say Shalom unto the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
Alright, a couple of brothers here got together from the hills of Yahushai camp.
Brother Samuel.
I'm with the brother Isaiah, and I'm the brother Marshala, right? And we wanted to get into today was a follow-up to our video previously, right? So we wanted to get into was a continuation of our video, me and the brother Canon out of the base of the word of the day for June 5th, 2026. The word here, so our brother could read it.
Word of the day, June 25th, 2026. Jaundice.
No, Jaundice.
Jaundice.
Yeah.
So
Jaundiced.
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 Jaundiced, right there. Go ahead.
what it means, jaundice, means showing or influenced by feelings of distrust, distaste, or hostility.
Right?
Someone described as jaundiced as possessing jaundiced opinions or views is typically understood to feel that way because of negative past experiences.
Right?
She developed a jaundiced view of politics after years of chairing her local school board committee and witnessing all kinds of petty shenanigans. Examples: now, I'm not accusing the mayor of anything. I'm saying that all these actions were highly inappropriate for an elected official. So, like an elected official, I voted for her, but will forevermore look at her actions with a jaundiced eye. Eric Reinheimer, The Retrospect, Collingswood, New Jersey, 23rd January 2026. Did you know? Cast not a jaundiced eye on the word jaundice. And by that we mean this: don't dislike or distrust a jaundice because of past experiences with the word or with others like it. Jaundice is handy for describing the grumps among us who tend toward envy, aversion, or hostility, or who does not know a few of those. This useful 17th century adjective comes from an also useful 14th century noun, jaundice, that still
Jaundice.
jaundice, that still refers to a medical condition in which excess bile
Yeah,
pigments
jaundice. Right, sorry.
in the bloodstream and body tissues cause a person's skin to turn yellow.
Which so watching movies, I would like to say I hope I say the correct thing here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the comments, when you're watching movies and they're always bringing up some pirate theme, that is what it is usually referred to as scurvy. Right, go ahead.
The connection between the physical condition and the bad attitude lies in the psychological theory of bodily humors, which holds that a hostile, irritable temperament is caused by excess yellow bile in one's body.
Right. No, Salak. As we would have went into in part 1, we'd have described or brought out that there is a jaundiced relationship highlighted in the Bible between the nation of Jacob, which is Israel, and the nation of Esau, which is Edom. And we're going to go into it, right? When you go into the relationship through the Bible between these two nations, you see it's characterized by what? Possessing views typically understood to feel that way because of negative past experiences, which would have brought out one of the negative past experiences which would have played out between the two patriarchs, right, on the part of Jacob, right, and what it have the feelings of distrust, distaste, and hostility. Obviously, these two nations are at war, but I want to think of it spiritually, right? Today, it's a spiritual war today, as the scriptures say, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and rulers or spiritual rulers of darkness and high places, which is what the Edomites today. So now in this time it's a spiritual war, but back in the times we're going to read about, the war was very much physical, right? So the relationship between Esau, Edom, and Jacob Israel, it's a jaundiced one, right? And we would have went into the first part of this. We would have described what it is we did, or how we played our part, right, and why the relationship is so today, right? But we're gonna go now in this part, going into what they did to us, as to why the relationship is one that again, if somebody can give me that Surah 12 and 10, because again, the word I like to highlight there is that word distrust, right? There's not trust between these two nations, and as I would like to say, there shouldn't be. There was not trust, there is not trust, and there should not be any trust. 12:10.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Esau 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy.
Again, we went into it. These heathen nations are our enemies, and Esau is the chief of these nations. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Right. Right? Again, never trust an enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. I fully agree with this precept. We have not trusted these people have not trusted us. We do not currently trust these people do not currently trust us. And I don't think it's gonna change, and nor should it. Right? Which we're gonna get into it. What did Esau do, or what was his contribution toward what the events that transpired to start this whole thing, right? What did he do on his part to bring the relationship to the point where it is at now? Somebody could give me it. Genesis 27 from verse 38, because again, we would have highlighted in the part 1 to this what we did. So it started when Jacob supplanted Esau's birthright and his blessing. He did not take too kindly to this. Again, we would have highlighted in Genesis 25, right, when he would have sold Jacob his birthright, right, and in the scriptures would have made mention of how when he said, what good is my birthright unto me, right? And it also said how Esau despised this birthright. When you go into some translations, it makes mention of he didn't care for it, or he didn't think it was important, right? It was not something of any weight or any value to him. But we knew Esau held on to this, selling of his birthright to Jacob for that raw food in his heart. Why? Because he would have made reference to it again when Jacob would have roused up his anger, right? As a result of him stealing his blessing. Go ahead, somebody. Genesis 27 from today.
Genesis 27 from verse 38. It says, And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
And in fact, Salakia, if you could read a little bit higher, give me a verse. Let me see.
36.
Not even that. Right.
33.
Go ahead, from verse 32, go ahead.
Genesis 27 from verse 32. It says, And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
Right, Esau just came into the room. Jacob was yet scarcely gone. Jacob just left. Esau came in after. Right, Isaac was now done, finished giving our birthright unto Jacob, who he thought was Esau. Right, read high up. We went into it in part 1. How Jacob would have supplanted Esau of his blessing. Go ahead.
Verse 33. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Where is he that had taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed.
Right, confirming here that even no matter how the blessing went and play off, the point was that it already happened. Right? Isaac being a man of his word, right, truly Most High honored the blessing. He said what? It happened, and it cannot be reversed. Balaam has given a commandment to bless, so I blessed, and I cannot reverse it. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry,
So he was pissed off.
and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he had supplanted me these 2 times, took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
Which again, verse 36 just highlighted right there. Esau held on to the fact that Jacob supplanted him or tricked him out of his birthright, right? Because as he's vexed now, he's making reference back to it again, even though that happened a whole 2 chapters ago, right? God.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants,
Right.
and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Right.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. So, by thy sword shalt thou live. How Esau operates in the earth, he's been gifted the power of the sword, right? Not only was he going to achieve or attain the fulfillment of his blessing to rule the earth through the sword, but he was going to uphold it, and keep it, right? By the means of violence, right? Bloodshed in the earth. Revelation 6, right? The rider on the horse was ride on the pale horse, his name was Death. But red horse and pale horse, same dude, right? If you could understand that, right? Power was given unto him to take peace from the earth. Power was also given unto him to kill a third of the earth, it said. Wherever point is, he could kill, right? He was given the blessing, and we know he's the one fulfilling that blessing in the earth today. Go ahead.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Right, so now we see what is this manifesting itself as. Now Esau hates his brother Jacob, right? God. Right, and as we see here, you understand how Esau is going to uphold this blessing, right? And then he says, what? And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion. So when it's your time to rule, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Right? And that yoke, speaking of what? When David and Solomon was in rule, they had the Edomites in slavery. Right? David had garrisons in Edom, Solomon had Edomite servants. Right? So we understood what we did. Right? Let's continue to read as to what, how Esau was responding, right? In response to what we did, what did Esau do as well? What is his part to play in this Jaundice relationship? Go ahead.
Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
So what Esau now seeks to kill his brother Jacob as a result of what Jacob did to him. Right, so we see in here now we understand what it is Esau did, or where it was started on Esau's part. Go ahead.
Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee.
So he reasoned to the man, right, the only way my wrath is going to be appeased as a result of what my brother has done to me, I have to kill him. That's the only way I'm going to be satisfied. Go ahead.
I just want to read the GNT. It's Genesis 27:42. But when Rebekah heard about Esau's plan, she sent for Jacob and said, listen, your brother Esau is planning to get even with you and kill you.
Right.
Verse 43 in the KJV. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise, flee out to Laban my brother to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away.
Right. Now, when you understand how long Jacob dwelt with Laban, it was 20 years, right? You're going to see here that even after that full 20 years that Jacob dwelt with Laban, Esau was still pissed off. Go ahead.
Verse 45, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him, then will I send and fetch thee from thence, Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are not of the daughters of the land,
Sorry, such as these which are of the daughters of the land.
such as these which are of the daughters of the land, Tawara, what good shall my life do me?
Right, so now we understand Jacob goes the blessing from Esau, Esau planted from him. Esau had nothing now. Right, he plans to kill Jacob. Now Jacob must flee. Right, now if somebody could give me Genesis 32 from verse 1, Babu Kasha.
Genesis 1:1. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of power met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, This is power's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom.
Right.
And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. My servant Jacob said thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. I have oxen and asses, flocks and men servants, and women servants. I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight.
Mm-hmm.
And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him.
Right, so Esau coming 400 strong along with himself, right, to meet his brother. What did this do to Jacob? Go ahead.
And Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed.
So now he in terrors now. Right, go ahead.
And Jacob divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and the herds, and the camels into 2 bands, and said, If Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape.
Now remember, this is all happening 20 years after that first interaction, or the initial interaction we had, what we just read about, which would have led to Rebekah telling Jacob to flee out of here. Right? And Jacob, in his mind, after hearing Esau is coming with these 400 men, the first thing Jacob could think to himself is, alright, I have to divide this company. Because if all of we go together to meet this man, he's going to kill all of us. So Jacob, in his mind, is already determined, in his mind, has already purposed in himself, is that what Esau wants to kill him. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And Jacob said, O power of my father Abraham, and power of my father Isaac, the Lord Yahweh would say unto me, Return unto thy country, unto thy kindred, I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast shewed unto thy servant. For with my staff I pass over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children.
So what he was afraid of Esau, because he in his mind believes that Esau is determined to kill him. Right? So we understand, and with good reason again, because that is what Esau was purposing to do. Right? Just read it. Now if you could give me Genesis 33 and from verse 1, Babu Kasha, how did this play out?
Genesis 33:1. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the 2 handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself unto the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the woman and the children, and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children which power had graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaids came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves.
Now hold on, again, Esau was purposing to kill Jacob, and he held on to this rat for a good while, as we read in the first part of the video. You'd have read the Amos 1 and 11. We're talking about Esau kept his wrath forever. Right? So we know how is this playing out? How is it that Jacob determined in his mind Esau wants to kill him? Esau is already purposed in his mind that his plan is to kill Jacob as payback for what Jacob did. How is it that he's not killing him right now? Well, all of that again is due to the work of the Most High. Again, when we read that Genesis 32 and verse 9, and Jacob said, O power of my father Abraham and power of my father Isaac, Yahweh, which saidest unto me, return to thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. Remember, the Most High gave Jacob assurance that he would return back to his homeland safely, right? So all of this was the work of the Most High. So,
Scripture say too, when a man's
I can
ways,
get, if you get Proverbs 15:1, and I believe as well, right? Even verse 10, and I am not worthy of all the least of all the mercies and of all the truth.
what?
Verse
Genesis 32:10.
no, yeah, Genesis 32:10. Sorry, and I am not worthy, right? And I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and I am now become two bands. Now we understand through this. In fact, even verse 6 again in the next chapter, verse 5, sorry, who are those with thee? And he said, the children which power had graciously given thy servant. Now when you read Genesis, before this chapter, I believe, Jacob would have seen a vision ladder stretching down from heaven, right? And he would have been given or passed the promise which was given to Abraham, given to Isaac, now to him to become the nation through whom the Lord is going to bless and exalt above all the nations in the earth. What he being the progenitor of the Lord's people, right? So one thing we establishing is wherever Jacob doing, it definitely is pleasing the Lord. Again, calling Abraham his friend, right? Called Abraham his friend, dealt with Abraham as his friend, right? He passed that same kindness or loving tender mercy unto Isaac, and then what? Passed it to Jacob. So one thing we establish in here is that what? The Lord was pleased or well pleased with Jacob. What does this lead to, right? This is why the Lord saved him, right? Go ahead.
In Proverbs 15:1, the soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
Right, and what? That is how it is. He went and dealt with Esau again, knowing Esau purposing to kill him. He came to him in a humble state. He didn't guff up against Esau. He didn't try to exalt himself or stand against Esau. Again, remember, Esau and he's there with 400 men. He even understood Esau's blessing. Esau was blessed with the sword, right? So he wasn't all too confident in himself to go against Esau, and he came to him in a state. I'm reflecting that, right? He came to him humbly, right? Even what calling Esau his Lord. Said, what said my Lord Esau unto thy servant, right? So go ahead. Right.
Proverbs 16:7, when a man's ways please Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, make it even his enemies to be at peace with him.
So what? That is how come Esau wasn't putting Jacob to death on the spot right there. Soft answer, turning away wrath. Right? Esau being a proud man as well. You know Esau that like that shit. Jacob coming humbly unto him. Right? And we know Jacob could have probably kicked someone as he just fought with an angel. Right? I believe the account of him fighting with an angel would have happened after this. 35. Genesis 35, correct. Tawada. So what? We know Jacob is a very capable man. Esau himself knowing this, right? He's saying, all right, look how this man coming to me. So what? So fans are turning it away, right? On top of that, Jacob's ways pleasing the Lord. It even made mention of that the same Genesis 25. Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Going into that word plain, it goes into perfect, upright, whole, right? And having complete and sound moral character, right? So Jacob was the man of power in the earth at that time, pleasing the Most High. The Most High what? Making his enemy Esau be at peace with him. We seeing this playing out right now before we eyes. I could go back to Genesis 32 now.
Yes, it's 32 and verse 6.
Sorry,
8.
Sorry, not 32. Sorry, Genesis 33. Right, yeah. Verse. He said, "Who are these?" 6. Go ahead.
Genesis 6:6. And the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves And after came Joseph near and Rachel, and they bowed themselves.
right?
And he said, What meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord.
Again, how we operated with him in a humble state, gaining cattle and all kind of thing, God.
And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself.
Right?
And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if thou have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of power, and was well, so that I was pleased with
And
me.
thou,
So that thou was pleased with me.
right?
Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because power dealt graciously with me, because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it.
Right?
And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and the herds with the young are with me.
But just on the flocks and herds with young.
And the flocks and herds with young are with me. If men should overdrive them one day, all the flocks will die.
Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14,
Read down till 16, Bible Kasha.
that my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and will lead on softly, according as the cattle are going before me, and the children be able to endure until I come unto my Lord unto Seir. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the flock that are with me, folk that are with me, so other. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir.
I read from verse 13 to 16 in the GNT Bible Kasha.
Okay. Genesis 33 and verse 13 in GNT. Jacob answered, You know that the children are weak. I must think of the sheep and the livestock with their young. If they are driven hard, for even one day the whole herd will die. Please go on ahead of me, and will follow slowly, going as fast as I can with the livestock and the children until I catch up with you in Edom. Esau said, Then let me leave some of my men with you. But Jacob answered, There is no need for that.
Never trust thine enemy. To stay away from me. Listen, all this thing good, you ain't killing me. I humbly dealing with it. Don't leave them niggas with me. I don't trust them. He just not saying it again. A soft answer, turn it away right now we seeing Jacob coming to him in subtlety, dealing with him like a supplanter, yeah. Right. So Jacob still being wise enough to say, you're not staying. Don't leave nobody. I good. Just you pass and stay far from we, and we could follow slowly behind. But we could follow. Don't stress. Go ahead.
There's no need for that. For I only want to gain your favor, so that Esau started on his way back to Edom.
Exactly. So, seeing here, Jacob dealing with him as a wise man, but we understanding through the whole understanding of this. This is where all of this started on Esau's part. Him purposing to kill our forefather Jacob. We have record of this. We know it in the Bible. We know they have records of this. So now, how does this extend onto the nations which would have proceeded out of these men's loins? Now, fathers was at war, or you see me right there between the two men, at least the on the part of Esau. Now this extend onto his nation. The people who came out of the loins of Esau have hate towards the nation of Israel. The people who came out of the loins of Jacob. Yes, they did. If you could give me Ezekiel 25 from verse 12, Barukusha.
It's the book of Ezekiel 25 from verse 12. And it reads, Thus says the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yoshai power, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance.
Go ahead.
And had greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus says the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yoshai power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom. I will cut off man and beast from it. I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword.
God.
And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance,
Say
said
it,
the
yeah.
Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Exactly. Right now, of course, right, that dealt against the house of Judah. Why did they go against the house of Judah? The house of Judah went against them in times past. Think about under David, Joab, right? When he have sent Joab to those many excursions to Esau, right, to put them in garrisons. So he put garrisons in them, enslaved the Edomites. Again, the Edomites served slavery under Solomon. Give me from Obadiah, Bible Kusha. Obadiah, verse 12.
Book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Edom, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. Psalms 137. Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
Exactly. So what we see in our history here, these nations or these people who have came out of these two men, understanding the history between these two men, they hate each other, right? Prophetically, if you give me Ezekiel 35,
Book of Ezekiel 35 from verse 1.
and read verse 5.
Verse 5.
Sorry, you can even go, you could go from verse 1 to 2, and then you could go to verse 5, yeah.
Ezekiel 35 from verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir,
Rulers of Mount Seir, right?
and prophesy against it.
Right, go ahead, verse 5.
And say, jump down to verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their
A
calamity.
perpetual hatred, a hatred seeming to last forever. Where did it begin? It began at the men, right? The two progenitors of the nation. Go ahead.
Therefore,
Shed the blood of the children of Israel.
in the time that their iniquity had an end.
So, yeah, they did it by the force of the sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
If you give me John 11 and 48, Bible Kasha.
John chapter 11 and verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and the nation.
And what? Who were the Romans? According to the nations of the people of the Bible, the Romans are Edomites. Right? Why are they worried about the Romans coming and taking away both the place and nation? Why? Because they've done shit like that in the past before. Right? They have sacked the temple, all kind of shit the Edomites have done unto us. Why? Because of the perpetual hatred they have for us that stems from the hatred their father had for our father. Right? We even saw this displayed when we will now becoming a nation and now entering into the land. Of somebody could give me Deuteronomy 20. In fact, before we go there, if you could give me Exodus 17 from verse 13, Bible Kasha.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 13. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
Now when you read Genesis, I believe it's 36, Genesis 36, which gives you, right, which gives you the account of the descendants of Esau. Amalek is one of them.
He's his grandson or great grandson.
Exactly, and what Amalek, the progenitor of the head tribe of the nation of Esau and Edom. You see what? They're having a war right here. Why? Again, these two nations do not like each other. Why? The relationship is Jaundice. Right, go ahead.
15, and Moses built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh Nasai, or Yahweh Nasai. For he said, because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yoshai had sworn that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yoshai will have war with Amalek from generation
to generation. Why? Because of what Amalek did unto us. Again, scriptures make mention of Amalek being the first of the nations, right, who came against the nation of Israel when they were what? When they were going into their land, or while they was having the whole wilderness experience before they came into the land. Right, go ahead. Is it
Go ahead.
Sorry, Deuteronomy. Yeah, sorry, I didn't get the precept. Give me Deuteronomy 25 and 17.
Deuteronomy 25 and verse 17.
And if you could read that, when he done, if you could read that in GNT, Babakasha.
It says, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when we are come forth of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not power.
Exactly, because again, to touch the nation of Israel is to touch the apple of the Most High's eye. If you're brave enough to go against the nation of Israel, you're brave enough to basically say, what? We do not fear your God. Right? Go ahead. Even, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Therefore it shall be, when the Lord Yahweh Shai thy power had given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which the Lord Yahweh Shai thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven,
right,
thou
promise.
shalt not forget it.
The same promise, what? Rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. Right? Thou shalt not forget it. The Most High has not forgotten the wrath he has towards these people. Right? He told Moses to remember it, rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. We have not forgotten it, and they have not forgotten the fact that they hate us. It all stemmed, it all stemmed from what? The strained relationship, or the fact that there basically wasn't a relationship, if we could even say that, right, between the two progenitors of these nations, Jacob and Esau. Why? Jacob stole the blessing, loosely using that term, like, supplanted, right? It was always his blessing, right? Esau prepared him unto wrath and would have killed him had not the Most High intervened. Go ahead.
Psalms 157. And verse.
And if, so like when you're done there, if you could go back. If you could read that Deuteronomy 25 from 17 in GNT.
In Psalms 157 verse 7, remember, O Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. So you can consistently see this is a message that is consistently echoed throughout the scriptures.
Esau always coming against, or Edom always coming against the nation of Israel. Why? Because of the perpetual hatred that is there. Right? Ecclesiastes 1:9-11, the thing that was is the thing that is the thing that was, right? And the thing that was is the thing that shall be. No new thing under the sun. I mean butcher that, so like, yeah.
The Ecclesiastes 1:9, the thing that had been is that which shall be.
Which is the relationship between Jacob and Esau, which the way it was is the thing that had been, right?
Is that which it shall be.
Right.
And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there's no new thing under the sun.
The thing that is done currently is the thing that shall be done. As long as Esau has the dominion, the nation of Israel, the nation of Jacob is going to suffer. Right? As long as Jacob has the dominion, right, the nation of Esau is going to suffer. This is not going to stop. This is the relationship between Esau and Jacob. Right? Kingdom of heaven suffered violence, the violent take it by force. Who's the violent? The violent man, Esau Edom. Right? And who's the kingdom of heaven? Yahweh was talking to the disciples. He said, what? The kingdom of heaven is in you. Right? Speaking of who? The nation of Israel by and large. People, the nation of Israel suffering violence by the violent man. Right? If you give me it, the Exodus 17. Sorry, the Deuteronomy 25 from 17. And the GNT.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25 and verse 17 in GNT. The heading is on the command to kill the Amalekites.
Right, and the Most High again, just like Esau, remember in this, he having record of it. Jacob remembering it, or at least we came back to this remembrance. We have the record of it in the scriptures here. The Most High has record of it, and the Most High keeps his wrath forever against these people. Right? The Most High will continue to have war with these people again from generation to generation until they are wiped out. So even if you don't hate Salakia, even if you don't hate Esau, right, you should if he's an Israelite, because your power hates them. Right? The relationship between Esau and the Most High is Jaundice. The Most High don't trust these people, and the Most High don't like these people. Right? You wanna like them? Why? Go ahead.
In Deuteronomy 25 and 17 in GNT, the heading, the command to kill the Amalekites. Remember what the Amalekites did to you as you were coming from Egypt. They had no fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and so they attacked you from the rear when you were tired and exhausted, and killed all who were straggling behind.
Straggling behind.
Straggling behind.
The people who couldn't keep up, the elderly, the young, the easiest targets that went for them.
The
right?
women.
The women as well. Yeah.
So then when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai your power had given you the land and made you safe from all your enemies who live around you, be sure to kill all the Amalekites so that no one will remember them any longer. Do
not forget. And what, even though this prophecy was in a way, it tried to play itself out under the hands of Saul, under David, under Solomon, we know if you could receive this is a prophecy that has to play out when? In the kingdom. Why? Right, in the kingdom to come, right? Why? So then when Yahweh your power had given you the land and made you safe from all your enemies who live around you. With the scriptures say, Israel shall dwell safely in his own land, and he shall lie down, rest, and not be afraid.
None shall make him afraid.
None shall make him afraid. When is that going to happen? New covenant, when Yahushua comes back here. Again, Yahushua is coming back here, and he's heading straight to Edom, which is America today. Right? So when the Mosai, Bozrah, they are the chief city of Edom today, right? America, Bozrah spiritually, right? When Yahushua returns here and he comes back, this is when that is going to happen. Right? That is why the Mosai saying what? Remember. Why would you have to tell somebody something to remember unless they had forgotten it? When did we forget it? 70 AD. Right? As a result of the falling away, we forgot who we forgot we were the Israelites. But now what? Now that we have woken back up, the spirit of life entering into us again, now we must remember these things. Why? Because these things have to be fulfilled. As Yahushua said, no jot or no tittle, or one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. I'm reading from the law here till all these things be fulfilled. And I'm telling you, and I'm promising it to you, you could bet your bottom dollar, Yahushua is the man who's going to initiate the fulfillment of all of these prophecies which have not been fulfilled as yet. Right? So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and that you were edified. In closing, we like to say, Kal Halalem La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rucha Kodash. Giving double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, surely do rule well. And as always, we like to say, Shalom unto the elect.
Shalom unto the elect.
Right, this was Chair Brothers here from the hills of Yahushai camp.
The brother Hananiah. And the brother Isaiah.
I'm the brother Marshall. Until next time, we like to say, Shalom. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.